The last few days had been a blur. Jessica could barely remember the funeral, only the hollow ache in her chest where her mother used to be. 3 days. 3 days to say goodbye, to try and pick up the shattered pieces of her life. 3 days that had felt like a lifetime and no time at all. Now, back in her empty apartment, the silence was deafening. She picked up her phone. It was her boss. Maybe he was calling to offer condolences, she thought, a flicker of hope sparking in the darkness. "Jessica," her boss's voice was clipped, all business. "We received your email about your absence. Unfortunately, we have to let you go. Unexcused absenteeism is grounds for immediate termination." The words hit Jessica like a physical blow. Fired? After her mother's funeral? The phone slipped from her numb fingers, clattering onto the floor. It couldn't be true. It couldn't be happening, not now, not when she was already drowning in grief. The termination letter arrived in the mail 2 days later, cold and impersonal. It confirmed what she already knew, but reading the words, seeing them printed in black and white, made it all terrifyingly real. Jessica felt a surge of anger, of disbelief, of utter despair. How could they do this to her? What was she supposed to do now? The weight of her loss, already unbearable, grew heavier with each passing moment. The life she knew, the job that had provided some semblance of stability, was gone. It was a cruel twist of fate, leaving her reeling in a maelstrom of grief and uncertainty. Jessica's story, while heartbreaking, is not uncommon in the United States. The concept of at-will employment, deeply ingrained in U.S. labor law, allows employers to terminate an employee for any reason or no reason at all. With a few exceptions, this means your boss can fire you because they don't like your shoes, your laugh, or, as in Jessica's case, because you took time off to grieve a loved one. While some might argue that this system allows for flexibility and efficiency in the workplace, it often leaves employees vulnerable and unprotected, especially in times of personal crisis. Adding insult to injury, there is no federal law in the U.S. mandating paid or unpaid bereavement leave for employees. This means that whether you get time off to mourn a family member and how much time you get is entirely at the discretion of your employer. Some states, however, have taken steps to provide better protections for employees. California, for example, has a paid family leave program that allows workers to take paid time off to care for a seriously ill family member or bond with a new child, which can also be used for bereavement. Other states have laws prohibiting employers from firing employees for engaging in lawful activities outside of work, which could potentially protect employees who take time off for bereavement. The lack of a federal mandate for bereavement leave in the U.S. stands in stark contrast to many other developed nations. Countries like Canada, the United Kingdom, and Australia all have laws guaranteeing employees a certain amount of paid time off for bereavement. This disparity highlights the precarious situation faced by many American workers, who are often left at the mercy of their employers when it comes to balancing work and personal life. The patchwork of state laws and company policies creates a confusing and often inconsistent landscape for both employers and employees. Some companies may offer generous bereavement leave policies, while others may offer little to no time off. This inconsistency can lead to situations where employees are forced to choose between grieving the loss of a loved one and keeping their jobs. Navigating this complex legal landscape can be challenging, especially for someone already grappling with grief. It is crucial for employees to be aware of both their company's policies and their state's laws regarding bereavement leave. This knowledge can empower employees to advocate for their rights and ensure they are treated fairly during a difficult time. Section 4. A patchwork of protections, state laws and company policies. The lack of a unified federal law on bereavement leave means that employees need to be familiar with their state's specific regulations. Some states, like Oregon and Illinois, have adopted laws that prohibit employers from retaliating against employees who take time off for family reasons, which can include bereavement. These laws offer a degree of protection, but their scope and application can vary. Company policies, too, play a crucial role in shaping an employee's bereavement leave experience. Some companies might offer paid leave, while others might only provide unpaid time off. The duration of leave offered can also differ significantly. Employees should be aware of their company's policy, which is usually outlined in the employee handbook or employment agreement. It is important to note that even in the absence of legal mandates, many employers recognize the importance of providing bereavement leave as a matter of basic human decency and employee well-being. These companies understand that grieving is a natural process that requires time and space, and they strive to create a supportive environment for their employees during such difficult times. Section 5. Could Jessica have avoided this? The importance of proactive measures. In retrospect, there were steps Jessica could have taken to potentially avoid her situation. While nothing excuses her employer's callous actions, being proactive about understanding her rights and company policies could have made a difference. First and foremost, knowing her company's policy on bereavement leave would have given her a clearer understanding of her options. Secondly, informing her supervisor in writing, not just by phone and email, would have created a paper trail documenting her request for time off. This documentation could have served as evidence had there been any dispute about her absence. It is always advisable to have a record of communication, especially for important matters like bereavement leave. Lastly, understanding her state's laws regarding employee rights and bereavement leave could have empowered Jessica to assert her rights more effectively. Knowledge of legal protections can be a powerful tool for employees facing difficult situations. While it might not have prevented the situation entirely, being informed and proactive could have potentially led to a different outcome.